In this video, we are going to discuss about some important objective questions regarding physical characteristics of wastewater, and the subject we are dealing with is wastewater engineering. Let's move to the first question. And the question is saying fresh sewage has fill in the blank color, and with the passage of time, it gets fill in the blank. See, initially when the sewage is fresh, its coloration is in gray gradation. Okay, the color of fresh sewage is gray. Let's cut option C and D. Now, when the time is passing, when passage of time takes place, the putrefaction or simply decomposition or decay of organic matter which is present inside the wastewater takes place, and it causes change in coloration. The color of sewage then gets darker. Therefore, fresh sewage has gray color, and with the passage of time it gets darker. Option B is the correct one. Let's go to question number next. Normal fresh sewage has fill in the blank odor which is non-offensive. See, when the sewage is fresh, its color is gray and it emits out musty odor. Okay, musty odor is a non-offensive kind of odor which can be simply described as odor from a stale organic object or kind of moldy stale scent is there, or kind of unclean scent is there. Okay, unclean smell is there. In case if you want to imagine how musty smell is there, imagine just an organic material which is rotting because of dampness. Okay, it is the musty odor. It is non-offensive. It does not have any repulsive sense to it. Okay, it is musty odor. Then presence of hydrogen sulfide in wastewater gives it fill in the blank odor. Okay, this is a very common question which is asked. H2S is highly associated with its significant odor which is rotten egg odor. Okay, H2S has rotten egg odor, and if this gas, if this compound is present in wastewater, obviously the sewage is going to smell like rotten egg. Okay, let's go to question number next. As compared to water supply, wastewater temperature is how wastewater temperature is. See, when we are talking about wastewater, then we are receiving used water. Okay, used water from houses, from industries. Now, because of all the processes that are going to take place inside the house or inside the industry, and also because of biological activity that will take place later in the wastewater, are going to cause rise in the temperature of wastewater, because of which the temperature of wastewater is always more than the water supply temperature. Okay, let's tick option A. Then, with increase in the temperature of wastewater, what is going to happen? When the wastewater temperature increases, DO is going to deplete. Okay, DO is going to deplete. DO will be leaving, dissolved oxygen will be leaving in its very oxygen format, and bacteriological activity will take place. Okay, when temperature is low, DO is there and bacteriological activity is in ceased condition, is in nil condition or in dormant condition. But when bacteriological activity is meant to activate itself, then the temperature requirement is high. Okay, therefore with the increase in temperature of wastewater, DO depletion will take place and bacteriological activity will initiate or it will increase. Then turbidity of wastewater can be directly measured without dilution by, see, when you want to measure turbidity of sewage or wastewater, then there are two options: Jackson turbidimeter and turbidity rod. Now nepilometer is the one that requires dilution. Okay, when you are going to measure turbidity of wastewater by nepilometer, you have to take a small sample of wastewater, then you have to dilute it with the distilled water multiple times, then you can determine the turbidity of that wastewater. But in case you want to directly measure turbidity of wastewater, then there are two options, which is Jackson turbidimeter, which is nothing but a calibrated tube which is kept on a stand, and below the stand a flame is kept. Let's say in case in a format of a candle, the burned candle is placed and the rod, the tube, okay, Jackson turbidity meter tube is then filled up gradually by using the wastewater sample. Now it is filled up to a point where observer will be looking from this specific point. Okay, from top view the observer will be looking for the flame. Okay, he will be looking for the flame, and the point at which the flame is not at all visible will be marked as the turbidity, and at that specific point the graduations will be recorded. That's how the turbidity of that wastewater will be reported in JTU, Jackson Turbidimeter Units. And another thing, in case you want to directly take measurement of turbidity in the, let's say, sewer itself or in the open drain itself, then what you will be doing, let's say this is the open sewer, open drain, and it is the wastewater, okay, or let's say any pond or any static source of wastewater is there, then what you will be doing, you will be dipping a turbidity rod. Now turbidity rod is graduated with some scales, okay, for indicating the turbidity. The point at which this end of the turbidity rod is not at all visible, the surface touching this specific rod will be recorded as the turbidity of the wastewater. Okay, the marking that the surface is in contact with, okay, it will be recorded as the turbidity. This is how, as simple as the Jackson turbidimeter and turbidity rod are used without making any dilution process. Okay, then sewage contains fill in the blank percent water and fill in the blank percent solid. Remember it, sewage contains 99.9% water and only 0.21% solid in form of suspended as well as dissolved solid. Alright, let's go to question number next. Total solid in wastewater consists of suspended, dissolved as well as colloidal solid. Okay, this should be colloidal. All the three types of solids are there in wastewater: suspended, dissolved as well as colloidal. Okay, suspended means settleable organic inorganic solid or non-settleable organic or inorganic solid. Dissolved are the one which cannot be filtrated. Okay, non-filtrable are the dissolved one. And when we are talking about colloidal solids, they are gel or emulsion or foam that can be removed only by biological oxidation or by carrying out coagulation, which can then be settled out by using the sedimentation and then in filtration tank. Okay, remember, total solid consists of suspended, dissolved as well as colloidal solids. Then Imhoff cone can determine what is the use of Imhoff cone and what Imhoff cone is. See, simply it is a conical shaped container which is graduated up to a count of 50 ml. Now what we will do, we will pour wastewater in this Imhoff cone. Its capacity is 1 liter. 1 liter is the capacity of Imhoff cone, and we detain the wastewater which is stored in this Imhoff cone for 2 hours. For 2 hours we will be keeping this Imhoff cone as it is, and after 2 hours the upper wastewater, okay, is removed and the settled solids are then collected from the bottom and then they are weighed. Okay, they are taken for their weighing, how much gram or milligram of the solids are settled in that Imhoff cone. Okay, this is the simple device for measuring what the settleable solids, okay, settleable suspended solids. All right, option C is the one. So that was all regarding what physical characteristics of wastewater. I will be uploading the PDF on the Telegram channel. So go to Telegram, do check out Simplified Learning, subscribe to that channel and go to files and you are going to find the PDF and other PDFs as well. If you like the video, please press thumbs up. Subscribe to Simplified Learning. Do check Instagram and Hindi channel also and Telegram channel also. Till then, take care. Bye bye.